Yeah.
It appears from this verse that the four Kumaras were impersonalists or protagonists of the philosophy of monism,
Protagonists.
be- becoming one with the Lord, but as soon as they saw the Lord's features, their minds changed. In the other words, the impersonalist who feels transcendental pleasure in striving to become one with the Lord is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental features of the Lord.
So by seeing the fragrance, by experiencing the fragrance, have entered into the nostrils of their four Kumaras, they experience the change in their hearts. Of course, Prabhupada is contrasting with how these people are unable to understand the form of the Lord, the beauty of the Lord. Um, in general, Mayavadi philosophers, impersonalists, but here, though they were attached to the Brahman feature of the Lord, but they were not envious of the Lord. They were not inimical towards the Lord. So that's why they could change, they could experience a transformation when they got the opportunity to smell the fragrance of the tulsi leaves. So that's how they transformed from impersonalist to personalism. Like Sukadeva Goswami also, for the pastime sake, of course, he was a kind of a impersonalist or Brahmavadi, or the absorbed in absolute truth. But when he heard 2 verses or 3 verses, some say, about Krishna's beauty and Krishna's quality, his character and his beauty and his character. So when he heard Varaha Pidam Natavara Karnayor Karnikalam, a famous verses comes in one is 10th canto, one is Ahobakiyam Stanakala Kutam, his character. Some people may be beautiful externally, but their character may be very, very troublesome or very sharp. But here both his form and his character are very, very, very pleasing and enchanting. Both Rupa and the Guna are explained in the 2 verses. By hearing that, Sukadeva Goswami was attracted to Lord Krishna. Then he went to his home and started hearing from his father, etc. Here Kumara smelled the fragrance, the lotus feet. Tulasi touched to the lotus feet of the Lord. They transformed. That is explained. The power of the lotus feet, Tulasi, power of Tulasi, coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. The fragrance, the glory is explained here. So that's the beautiful transformation happened here in the Kumaras. Text 44. Deva Deva Amushya Vadanasita Padma Kosham Mudvikshya Sundara Taradhara Kundahasam Labdashisha Punaraveksha Tadiyam Angri Dvandam Nakarunamani Shayanam Nidadyuhu. Please read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The Lord's beautiful face appeared to them like a inside of a blue lotus, and the Lord's smile appeared to be a blossoming jasmine flower. After seeing the face of the Lord, the sages were fully satisfied, and when they wanted to see him further, they looked upon the nails of his lotus feet, which resembles rubies. Thus, they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, and so they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature.
Yeah. So they could not be satisfied, thus they viewed the Lord's transcendental body again and again, and they finally achieved meditation on the Lord's personal feature. So just like when we take a sweet on festival days or any other day, once we take one gulab jamun, and the desire increases more and more. Let us have more gulab jamuns, right? Any sweet, any sip that we take, either firni or whatever, now we want to drink more and more. That's the nature of anything that is very satisfying and pleasing. So similarly, all the sages were want to see the Supreme Lord's form again and again and want to drink the nectar of his beauty. And then what happened? Pumsam gatim mrakayatam yah yoga margair dhyanaspadam bahumatam nayanabhiramam pom pomsnam vapurdarshayanam ananya siddhair aupattikai samagrunan yutamashtabhogaihi. Please read.
This is the form of the Lord which is meditated upon the followers of the yoga process, and it is pleasing to the yogis in meditation. It is not imaginary but factual, as proved by great yogis. The Lord is full in 8 kinds of achievement, but for others, these achievements are not possible in full perfection. The success of the yoga process is very nicely described here. It is specifically mentioned that the form of the Lord as 400 Narayana is the object of meditation for the followers of Yoga Marga.
So here, as Brahmaji is describing the form of the Lord. So, a yoga process, that is the ultimate conclusion, the ultimate meditation of yogis. This is the meditation on the Paramatma form. That's how ours came that, to the point that this is the perfection of yogis. So they achieved of the yoga perfection. That is the seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. Ashtanga Marga. So that is the main aspiration of yogis. That is achieved by Kumaras. They are meditating on the Supreme Lord, different limbs. So that's why Prabhupada focused on the Yoga Marga, the object of meditation. 400 Narayana is object of meditation for the followers of Yoga Marga. And then, of course, Prabhupada's way that he defeats the so-called the path of asanas, yoga asanas, etc. What is the main purpose? So that Prabhupada defeats here modern yogis, etc. They want to meditate on something impersonal or some void or some object, some trikon or some pyramid, etc. So many aspects they bring up, neutral objects. So I just want to narrate one incident happened before I came into Krishna consciousness. I was just doing some kind of yoga. So I was going to classes and I was, I mean, it's a part of meditation, part of class is that we have to meditate on particular object, particular anything that you are, what to say, you're inspired by any devata or any object or even anything personal. So then one of my friend asked me that he was not into, he was just curious and he was kind of a sarcastic comments on me, on my practice. So what will happen if I meditate on actress? You are saying any object you can take. Why don't you practice meditation on any actress or actor that we are liking? At that time, I didn't have any answer to say. I mean, these people said, oh, anyone you can meditate on. So, but after reading Prabhupada books, we can understand. I know you cannot meditate on anyone, everyone, especially those people who are agitating or who are increasing your own illusion. You cannot meditate on. That will not the purpose of yoga at all. Right now. So that's how people are fooled. I was also fooled in that sense. But by great Prabhupada's mercy, of course, this is the month where Prabhupada traveled all the way from Calcutta to New York, August 13 to September 18th, 1965. On 13th September, yesterday, and in 1965, he wrote that first song, beautiful song, Markine Bharpat Dharma, in the ship at Boston. Yeah, that's a famous stanzas from Prabhupada's heart. He expressing his heart to Krishna. Krishna tava punya habe bhai. So that's how he is, by his grace, by his mercy, by his risk of his life, we are all saved from all kinds of risky things, even material life also, in spiritual lives also. So-called yogas of so-called religion people, uh, uh, everyone is trying to cheat and everyone is aspiring to be cheated. That is also another aspect Prabhupada many times mentions, but we need to be careful about what to meditate on, what is the process of yoga, and what is the ultimate goal of life. We should come to the main purpose. Prabhupada explains the same, the yoga system, Patanjali yoga system, etc. How Western countries, all these people are trying to practice Hatha yoga, etc. But these are all not the real yoga. But the real yoga starts with controlling the mind and senses to concentrate mind on Narayan and Sri Krishna, Lord Vishnu. The meditation is that's the ultimate goal of yoga, also mentioned by Krishna in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, last verse. Yogi Nama Sarvesham Matkate Anantaratmanam. Before that, he establishes how the yoga is the topmost and yogi is the topmost. And of all the yogis, I am the that personality who meditates on me is the topmost yogi. Yeah, the Prabhupada is bringing up the same topic. Bhagavad Gita recommended this. Yeah. Basically, the verse is that the ultimate perfection of yoga is to meditate on the Lord. The where four Kumaras came to the final point of that meditation. Now they are able to see the form of the Lord and meditate on different limbs of the Lord. Of course, Prabhupada's famous argument that Arjuna himself frankly expressed his inability to reject that kind of yoga. And but we are trying to middle with that kind of yoga to achieve perfection, but it's not possible. So yeah, Prabhupada is saying that point that the main goal is to come to the meditation of super soul. That's explaining. Stated in Bhagavad Gita that a person who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness topmost. Yeah. Same last verse of 6th chapter that Prabhupada explaining here. So that ultimate point is the Krishna consciousness. The individual soul's consciousness cannot act in super consciousness. One cannot become Paramatma. But this super consciousness can be achieved, however, by dovetailing individual consciousness with the consciousness of Supreme. This dovetailing process is called surrender or Krishna consciousness. Yeah, these are all definitely good topics that you definitely might have heard and read. But Prabhupada again and again emphasizes on this aspect of meditation, how we need to understand. He wrote a very big purport for this. And he finally comes to the point of what is real meditation. And the meditation was possible in Golden Age Satyuga, the meditation process, real meditation process. But for Kali Yuga, he mentions that chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that is the main process as we understand, as we are practicing. So that is saying, please read this one. Someone can read.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Those who have taken to this most sublime Bhakti Yoga system, who practice devotional service and transcendental love of Krishna, can testify to its happy and easy execution. The four sages Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumar also became attracted by the features of the Lord and the transcendental aroma of the dust of his lotus feet, as already described in verse 43.
So they are
Should I
attracted to
continue?
the features of the Lord. No, that's sufficient. Yeah. So Prabhupada explains the same that that is the final conclusion, final achievement, final result of the yoga is that we have to come to the point of personal meditation, features of Supreme Lord to be the object of meditation. Now, the final section where we are coming to the point of prayers offered by Kumaras. Now, after taking darshan, they offered their obeisances physically. Now they are speaking verbally. They are trying to glorify the Lord. Kumara uchuhu yo antarhito hridigato duratpanam tvam यो अद्यैव नो नयनमूलमनन्तराद्धः यर्ह्येव कर्णविवरेण गुहां गतो न पित्रानुवर्णितरः भवद् उद्भवेन. Is it?
The Kumaras said, "Our dear Lord, you are not manifested to rascals, even though you are seated within the heart of everyone. But as far as we are concerned, we see you face to face, although you are unlimited. The statements we have heard about you from our father, Brahma, though the years have now been actually realized by your kind appearance. Through the years have now been actually realized by your kind appearance."
Through the years. So we heard from our father. So that's the one of the main point Prabhupada picks up, and Acharya also mentioned how we can realize the form of the Lord. So, but without hearing, what will happen? He cannot be manifested to rascals. Rascals means those who don't hear in parampara. It's not possible to come to the conclusion or to the perfection of manifestation of Supreme Lord in the heart. Though he's there next to me, in everyone's heart. But we are all covered. Maya, Javanika, Channam, Agna, Doksha, Jamaprijam, Nalakshasi, Mudadrusha, Natu, Natya, Dharveta. Kuntimanan is saying that though he is present, of course, previous verse mentions Antar Bahicha Bhut, Antar Bahir Avastitam. So though he is externally, internally present, but because of Maya, Javanika, Channam, the curtain of Maya is deluding. We are unable to see Krishna, we are unable to have the presence of Krishna in our hearts, though he's there 24 hours around the clock with us, he's guiding us, but still we are unaware of his presence. Yeah, but by hearing from authorities, by practicing what they gave the method, we can definitely realize that presence of the Supreme Lord in our hearts. Duratmanam, yeah, Duratmanam, for them it's not possible, but only by Yarishi Eva Karna Vivarena Guham Gato Nah, because we heard from our father, Pita Anuvarnita, they described. So that's how we can realize the supreme form of the Lord. Nityam Brahma Rupena Rakshase Prakashena Chitram. So though Nitya Brahma Rupena Prakashase Nat Chitram, so though he's Krishna is manifesting in Brahman feature, Brahma Rupena Prakashase, he is always manifesting in Brahma Rupa, Brahma Jyoti. That is not very chitram, it's not very astonishing, but into now Paramamangala Vishuddha Sattva Sri Murtiya Prakashitosi Pratyakshosi. Directly we are able to see. Previously also we were very much absorbed in that absolute truth. It was manifesting in our hearts, the absolute truth in the form of Brahma Rupa Prakashase. It was manifesting. That was not any astonishing, but Paramamangala Vishuddha Sattva Sri Murti is so supremely pure and supremely auspicious. Vishuddha Sattva Pratyakshosi, directly we are seeing. Aho Bhagyam Asmakam, what a great fortune to us, what a great fortune of us. In that sense, they are expressing this one, and then the reason also given why they could see that Parama Vishuddha Mangala Sri Murtya, that how it was possible. It was possible because they heard from Brahmaji.
Commentary is this like
That's what Prabhupada also main focus. That was Prabhupada's focus also.
मी फर्स्ट इयरचं फर्स्ट इयरची कन्सर्न नाही ओके one question I have like is commentary this is like you
I think
read
you
right
can
now
you can mute yourself. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're asking question? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so this commentary was from where that you read this comment?
Vishwanath
Okay.
Thakur, I think. Mostly Vishwanath Thakur or. Okay. 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 or Sridhar Swami, either of them. I didn't write that note, but I can
So
forward
it
later
is
on.
quite interesting that this commentary is in the form of somebody is thinking. So it's like
Yeah, that's so Acharya's
yeah.
right. That's so Acharya's right. You can see the original commentaries. That's so Acharya's presentation. It's a very internal dialogue between a devotee and the Lord. That's how
Yeah, so it's like the acharyas can see what is
they
going
comment.
on
And
inside
Prabhupada
the mind of
taking
the
the
four Kumaras, which is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, that's the beauty also you experience. Sometimes Prabhupada brings out same concepts and directly writes how a devotee is thinking, what he's saying. But many times Prabhupada translates into third person. Because the thrust of Prabhupada is different in the sense he wants to present to audience and of course in a preaching mood also at the same time in a very understandable manner. Prabhupada much 80% not directly he gives the kind of that dialogue between a devotee and the Lord himself, but as a third person, as a he mentions, not in first person, he mentions like that. But yeah, that is a comment by either mostly Vishnu Chakravarti. So yeah, that they're saying aho bhagyam asmakam. No, it's a great fortune. Prabhupada explains about Duratmana picks up the aspect of who can't realize who are Duratmas, Mahatmas and Duratmas. Prabhupada brings from the Bhagavad Gita. Like that Duratmas cannot realize the Supreme Lord form. And then he explains out how form is there, the Supreme Lord form is there behind the effulgence. The Ishopanishad verse he brings and he explains how the Supreme Lord form is there, but just like a train is coming in night, we can't see the train itself immediately because of the light in front of the train. So that's how Prabhupada gives example, but it is there, the form is there, the personality is there behind that light, supreme effulgence. I read this one. Here the four Kumaras.
Here the four
Sages.
sages.
Continue.
Here the four sages Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandan, and Sanat Kumara are described as actually sincere devotees. Although they had heard from their father Brahma about the personal feature of the Lord, only the impersonal feature Brahman was revealed to them. But because they were sincerely searching for the Lord, they finally saw his personal feature directly, which corresponded with the description given by their father. Thus, they thus became fully satisfied.
Continue.
Here they express their gratitude because although they were foolish impersonalists in the beginning, by the grace of the Lord, they could now have the good fortune to see his personal feature. Another significant aspect of this verse is that the sages describe their experience of hearing from their father Brahma, who was born of the Lord directly.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. So sincerely, they are sincere. The sincerity of purpose. They are open-minded. They are not close-minded, like impersonalists who are trying to put down the Lord's features. Brahman, I mean, impersonal feature, personal feature they want to put down, or they comment, they criticize, etc., etc. But these sages are sincerely searching, and of course they became great devotees. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Even Prabhu Swami glorifies them because they are glorifying Mother Radharani. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite Ukulataruni Mandala Mahite. So all these great personalities are wonderful, amazing aspects are there. Seeing from different angles, you will have different emotions toward these personalities. Sanak Sanatan, Sanat Kumar will. These four personalities come again in Pruthumara's section. I think in fourth canto, I think they will come, and four Kumaras very much. Pruthumara invites them, and very beautiful section that also. They glorify their great personalities for Kumaras. Yeah, they are definitely devotees. They have their own parampara, Chatush Kumar, Kumar Sampradaya. They are also okay. So that's the aspect of four Kumaras. So we are reading their aspects, some of aspects of four Kumaras. They are realizing they came to the perfection. They are showing their gratitude. And another significant aspect, Prabhupada mentioning that they heard from Brahmaji. So that's the main process that we need to hear. That the hearing process is the foundation. That's how we develop more and more into spiritual advancement. Until this time, we have been jnanis, but now we have become devotees. This is such a good fortune that is expressed in this verse. Yeah, I think the same comment in English translation, right now. The same comment is in English translation by Bhanuswami Maharaj. So that is such a good fortune. Ahobhagyam, ahobhagyam. That's explained here. Text 47. Tam tvam vidama bhagavan tam tvam vidama bhagavan paramatma tattvam satvena sampratiratim rachayantamesham esham yatte nutapa viditay dhrudabhakti yogay udgrantayo hrudi vidur munayo viragaha. Read someone read. Hare Krishna.
We know that you are the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, who manifests his transcendental form in the uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. This, this transcendental eternal form of your personality can be understood only by your mercy. Through unflinching devotional service by great sages whose hearts have been purified in the devotional way.
So they are glorifying they are expressing their gratitude, they are glorifying the form of the Lord, who manifests his transcendental form in uncontaminated mode of pure goodness. They are expressing the Lord's nature in this verse also. This eternal form can be understood only by your mercy. So we cannot we cannot command the Lord's revelations. Only when he pleased, he will reveal himself. Through unflinching devotional service. Of course, we practice, we endeavor, that endeavor is there. Endeavor and mercy are definitely both has to have in revelation, both has to be there. And Prabhupada explains how these three features of absolute truth. Even though the Kumaras were instructed by their great learned Father Brahma, they could not actually understand the absolute truth. They could only understand the absolute truth when they personally saw the personality of Godhead with their own eyes. That's they heard, but when they saw perfectly the Supreme Lord, they realized it. That's the one point Prabhupada mentions here in this purport. Read the last part. How one can understand Supreme Lord.
It
Hare
is said
Krishna.
that one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead when one is even slightly favored by Him. Otherwise, without His mercy, a man may speculate for thousands of years and not understand what is actually the absolute truth. This mercy can be perceived by the devotee who by the devotee when he is completely freed from contamination. It is stated, therefore, that only when all contamination is rooted out and the devotee is completely detached from material attractions can we receive this mercy of the Lord.
So this mercy can be perceived. This mercy can be perceived by the devotee when he is completely freed from contamination. Anardhani vritti. We go through all stages. We are endeavoring to cross the stages of Anardhani vritti and coming to Nishtha stage. When at a higher stages of Ruchi, Asakti, especially bhava, the form of the Lord will be slightly revealed, and the prema stage is actually there in front of the eyes of the devotee. So, but all this will happen only by the mercy of the Lord. We cannot demand or we cannot command. That's they are expressing only by the mercy. You yourself manifest, my dear Lord. That they expressed in this 47, 48. Natyantikam viganayantyapite prasadam kim vanyadarpita bhayam bruvavun yaiste eyangatvatangri sharana bhavata kathaya kirtanya tirtha yashasha kushala rasa rasagna. Please read.
Persons who are persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things, as they are engaged in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing or of others less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom.
So they could realize the amazing aspect of hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord's personal features and hearing about them, hearing about Him, His qualities, etc. That is much more, and that is aspired, that is sought by the very expert and most intelligent persons. They engage in the hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord, which are worth hearing and chanting. But otherwise, who do not care for this, they only aspire for some less important benedictions. So that's the main point, that comparing with mental happiness and spiritual happiness, how great it is to hear and glorify the Lord. So they don't care. That is also a spiritual advancement, a certificate or proof or a symptom that we are advancing. Means we can see that how much we are more and more inclined towards hearing and narrating the glories of the Lord, and not taking interest much in all these other material things, talking about material subjects, material benedictions, material happiness, even up to the platform of Brahmaji's planet, whatever happinesses are there, they become lesser and lesser and less important to a devotee. So the more we are coming to this stage, means it's a symptom of our advancement. We are not talking too much about all this, whatever is happening in the material world, ups and downs. There are always will be there. Always will be there. Sometimes happiness, sometimes stress, sometimes benedictions, sometimes curses. These things will keep on, will go on, eternally will go on, because Prakriti is like that. But devotee is more and more interested in trying to discuss the Supreme Lord's character and aspects, and of course whatever services that we have. Of course, we are not saying that we are completely irresponsible nor neglectful of our material responsibilities, whatever we have. Nitya karma, naimitya karma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions. Nitya karma means we need to do whatever we have, our material bodies, we have our families, we have to carry on nitya karma, but naimitya karma. Nitya karma is eternal souls at the level of soul. At the level of body, we have all the duties we need to carry on. But it should not also minimize that our nitya karma in the sense of our duty towards Supreme Lord. That's a symptom that we are advancing in spiritual life. That's the point of the verse. Read this highlight version.
Devotees don't care for such liberation because they are actually intelligent, nor are they inclined to accept any of the other four kinds of liberation, namely to live on the same planet as the Lord, to live with Him side by side as an associate, to have the same appearance, and to attain the same bodily features. They are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord and his auspicious activities. Pure devotional service is Shravanam Kirtanam.
So even up to the point of the devotees, it's the highest point where they are not even aspiring for liberations. They don't care for all these liberations also, though they are personal liberations. Sarupya, Sasti, Salokya, Samipya. Not Sahaja. Sahaja anyway, they don't care for such liberation of Sahaja, as Prabhupada mentioning here. Even they themselves are not appealing to the devotees, but other persons may aspire for all these things. But devotee is not interested much in these aspects of even for liberation. What to speak of other material benedictions. That's what the main verse is saying. That one should engage himself in hearing from pure devotees about activities of the Lord. That is considered supreme benediction for mankind. We are interested in hearing and glorifying the Lord. Just like a boy, a child may be very much interested in toys and playing with sand on the beach and making all the so many wonderful objects, wonderful structures. But as one grows more and more, come to maturity, and he does not interest in all those things which are very much appealing and absorbing, consuming his consciousness at one stage. As one becomes mature, they are not even appealing. What to speak of trying to take a great happiness in them. Similarly, devotee also has to. That is the one symptom that we can check ourselves. So then, when they said like that, Lord is saying, it is true. My devotee does not give regard to liberation. But are you now fixed in pure bhakti or liberation? Or in liberation? Where you are? You seem to be till now. You seem to be absorbed in a Brahman, the Brahmajyoti, the impersonal aspect. But you are saying about devotion, such a appreciation for devotion came into your hearts. Are you now fixed in pure bhakti? So, can I hear something more from you? So the Lord is asking. So for that they are replying. Kamam bhava swabrajanai nirayeshu ya nasta cheto livat yadinute padayorameta vachas chanas tulasivat yaditendri shobha uryetate gunagana yadi karnarandraha.
O
I think
Lord,
you can have.
O Lord, we pray that you let us be born in any hellish condition of life, just as long as our hearts and minds are always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Our words are made beautiful by speaking of your activities, just as tulsi leaves are beautified when offered unto your lotus feet. And as long as our ears are always filled with the chanting of your transcendental qualities.
Continue.
The four sages now offer their humility to the personality of Godhead because of their having been haughty in cursing two other devotees of the Lord.
Yeah. Now it shows the exact hallmark of devotion, hallmark of a devotee. What exactly is the symptom that Lord wants to hear from them? So they express that, yeah, my dear Lord, wherever we may be, Nerayeshu nastat, Nerayeshu nastat, let us be in Niraya, in hell, no problem. But as long as we have the opportunity to Patayorameta, just like Alivad, just like a bumblebee takes pleasure, like bees, Alivat, like bees take pleasure and the honey, the flowers. So let us take pleasure in your lotus feet. So Acharya has mentioned that Prabhupada also mentions that generally bees, when they have to take honey from the flowers, there may be thorns, but still they don't mind. They are Kantakeshu, though there may be a lot of thorns, but still the bees goes to the flower and releases the nectar in the flower. Similarly, my dear Lord, there may be so many obstacles in trying to serve your lotus feet, but let us always take a great relish in serving your lotus feet, whatever may happen to us. wherever we may be, even in hell also. So hell doesn't mean this is a physical location or some geographical location, but hell also basically it means a lot of suffering is there, a lot of punishment is there. In our situations also, like there may be a lot of suffering, a lot of setbacks, disappointments in life, but still that the aspect of the critical and the amazing aspect of bhakti or bhakta is that he doesn't leave the service of the Lord. That's the hallmark of devotion, of devotee. That's what is mentioned here. Cheto alivadyatu nute padayorameta. Let us always take pleasure in serving your lotus feet by our mind, by our chitta, by our consciousness, and by our words, by vachas, by our let our words always glorify your glorification. I mean, let us our words narrate your glories or your lotus feet glories. Angrisho Baha. Just like Tulsi becomes more beautiful when Tulsi is offered to lotus feet. Similarly, let us our words also glorify your lotus feet. And that they're expressing. Puryetate gunaganai yadi karnarandraha. Let our ear holes also be filled with your gunaganas, your transcendental qualities. Let our ears be filled with all your. This is the hallmark of devotion that they are expressing here. So, whatever situation we may be in, let our chitta, our words, our ears be constantly merged in your glorification about hearing about you, talking about you, and discussing about you. So that's what expressed in this verse. Now, Prabhupada mentions the context that after the incident, they became conscious that they had done wrong by cursing the devotees of the Lord, and they prayed to the Lord that even in the hellish condition of life, their minds might not be distracted from the engagement of service to the Lord. Yeah, that's what Prabhupada explains. Very beautiful line. He says that those who are devotees of the Lord are not afraid of any condition of life, provided there is constant engagement in service of the Lord. So, if we want to call ourselves devotees, Prabhupada is mentioning the condition here. I am a devotee. That means I am not afraid of any condition of life. And I am also constantly seeking, hankering for engagement in service of the Lord. That's a beautiful definition. Prabhupada explains the sloka of Narayana Para Sarvina Kutashrabha, the 6th canto, Lord Shiva's verse. You can go through the purports. We don't have much time to explain much now, but beautiful purport. He explains about the body, ears, or ear holes. We need to be filled with the transcendental narrations of the Lord. One may be put into any condition, but God gives him the prerogative to chant Hare Krishna. In any condition of life, if one goes on chanting, he will never be unhappy. So that's the Prabhupada's convictions, Prabhupada's confirmations about bhakti, the potency of bhakti, and the actual symptom of bhakta is mentioned here. He has the prerogative, whatever situation, whatever condition may be. Whether we are young, whether we are old, whether we are deceased, whether we are rich, whether we are poor, whether we are a family person, whether we have a great big family, wife, children, job, boss, or whether you're staying in ashram, sannyasis, or whoever one may be. One may put into any condition, but God gives him the prerogative of chanting Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. That is always there. That opportunity is always there. So one chant, which continues to chant, then one will never be unhappy in any condition. So that's a Prabhupada's wonderful purports. So then the last verse, they conclude with this prayer that, yeah, my dear Lord, we are now attracted towards your devotional service. They are glorifying bhakti itself. Then they conclude with this verse. Praduschakarta yadidam puruhuta rupam tene shanivritima avapuralam drushona asmadidam bhagavate namayit videma yona atmanam durudayo bhagavan pratitah.
O Lord, translation, O Lord, we therefore offer our respectful obeisance on to your eternal form as the personality of Godhead, which you have so kindly manifested before us. Your supreme eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent persons, but we are so much satisfied in our mind and vision to see it.
Continue.
The four sages were impersonalists in the beginning of their spiritual life, but afterwards, by the grace of their father and spiritual master Brahma, they understood the eternal spiritual form of the Lord and felt completely satisfied.
Yeah. So
Uh,
we therefore offer our respectful obeisances. Finally, they are going down. They are currently manifested before us. They are grateful. And those who are unfortunate, eternal form cannot be seen by unfortunate, less intelligent person. But we are satisfied. We are completely grateful for your appearance here. So that was they are expressing. And Prabhupada picks up the point of Anatmanam. Those who are Anatmanam, they cannot realize impersonalists and so-called yogis. They cannot realize, but the four sages felt so much obliged to the Lord that they offered their respectful obeisances unto him again and again, because of mercy is given to them. Lord is not just speaking. Lord didn't start speaking. He just appeared there. That's it. He just gave darshan. Though they were taking darshan of the Lord in different form, in the Brahma Jyoti form, they are experiencing Brahma, not just taking darshan. But now, once they saw that such a beautiful Sachidananda Vigraha, the form of the Supreme Lord, then they are so satisfied and they are glorifying the beauty of the Lord here. Thus, end the Bhaktivedanta purports to third canto, 15th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Descriptions of Kingdom of God. Kingdom of God. The sages now concluded their prayers, and now let us see the 16th chapter. We are little short of time because we need to cover next tomorrow by this chapter. Of course, this chapter also little short chapter. Only 37 verses are there, and initial part is more discussion is there. Later verses are not much purport also. Hope we will try to complete. So after offering the prayers by Kumaras, now are you able to see the screen of 16th chapter? Okay. Seems you are seeing the screen of 16th chapter. So yeah, this is a section. This is the sections that are given in 16th chapter. Now the Lord first taking an amazing humble position. He apologizes Kumaras, taking the side of the Jay and Vijay, those who are great devotees of the Lord, whom Lord is attached to whom Lord is attached to. So definitely Kumaras also devotees. Now they became definitely intimate devotees. But the Lord is more favorable towards Jay and Vijay. That is expressed in his verses also. But indirectly, he kind of taking the side of Kumaras. It appears to be like that in upcoming verses. I'm just giving uh, a kind of summary. It appears that he is glorifying the Kumaras and the Brahmanas because they are the Brahmanas for Kumaras. And the Lord is begging forgiveness from them, taking the mistake from on him, though it's done by Jay and Vijay, because generally when one is becomes so attached to, just like a son and father, if son does some mistake, the father is blamed. Even in our society also, when son does something, some wrong act, or even when his son is praised, son gets something great post or any good college, the father is glorified. Hey, his son got a job or got a seat or etc. His son or his grandson, right now, the family is glorified. So that shows the connection between the dependents and the superiors. Similarly, here the Lord is so identifying with Jay and Vijay. That's how he's taking the side of Jay and Vijay. That is seen in this section, in these chapters also, in this chapter especially. It's and first 12 verses, Lord apologizes. Lord talks to Kumaras, excusing him, begging forgiveness for whatever happened, and he says many things. And the Kumaras section, Kumaras, the situation, what happened to Kumaras after that, what they are feeling internally, and 2-3 verses is explained by Brahmaji. And then Kumaras replies to Lord Narayan, what Lord says, my dear Lord, you may be saying like that, but we don't believe in that. They actually understand that Lord is not just glorifying us, but it's actually sarcastic comments he's making on us. He's actually reprimanding us. They realize, and the Lord reconciles both. And then, of course, the JVJ goes to takes the curse and goes to metal planets. And the Lord Brahma concludes the narration explaining about how Chaturshamaras went from there, and the JVJ left that place and takes birth as a Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So that's the chapter. But main portion is the initial verses, talks about conversation between Lord and the Kumaras, especially the Lord's comments. Lord's taking side of the Jay and Vijay, how he is replying, talking to Kumaras for their actions, that we will see. Yeah, after congratulations, Lord spoke in the first verse, and then just a summary of the verses. My servants offended you, I approve the punishment. First, he Lord approves, yeah, whatever you did is correct. Because of course, Lord later says that it is my own plan. That will be revealed later. So that's why he's saying that my servants offended you, I approve this punishment. Then he takes side of his Jay and Vijay. Okay, I consider this offense as on behalf of myself did the same mistake kind of thing. Therefore, I seek forgiveness. Servant mistake causes master's infamy. He gives the example of leprosy also. When there's a mistake on part of a dependent, then the superior or who is the authority is blamed or punished, etc. Similarly, here also he gives an example of a leprosy. Even if a spot is there on the skin, the whole person is blamed. Whole person is blamed. Oh, he has a leprosy. Though a small spot is there on the skin, part of this portion, but everything is blamed. So then Lord glorifies the Brahmanas. Here the section where Lord is apparently seeming that he's glorifying the position of the Brahmanas and their mercy on the Lord himself. So he mentions many things because of connection to Brahmanas only. So previous section was he's connecting himself to Jay and Vijay. So taking side that I have great attachment to my Jay and Vijay. That's why he's identifying himself with them and then taking the part of an offense from the Jay Vijay point of view. Now he's trying to take the side of, trying to see from the side of Brahmanas. Oh, because of Brahmanas only, my name is so powerful because I am attached to Brahmanas. Because of their mercy, because of my connection to Brahmanas, even my name becomes so powerful that even Chandalas become purified by taking my name. And when I take the dust of Brahmanas, I become so attractive. Even Lakshmi ji is attached to me because of Brahmanas mercy only. That's so he's kind of glorifying the Chaturshkumaras, but indirectly is kind of sarcasm that they realize later on. That's mentioned here in some of the verses. I enjoy the food through the mouth of the Brahmanas. I take the dust of the Brahmanas on my head, and no one should criticize them. Actually, one should praise them, even if they criticize, even if they offend. So that's how Lord goes to say that even if the Brahmanas become angry on someone, if other person glorifies Brahmanas, then that person becomes so dear to me. So in that sense also Lord expresses here. Those who look upon the Brahmanas, cows and defenseless creatures as different from me, they are like serpents torn by Mirage. Yeah. So those personalities who discriminate the Brahmanas, cows, and those are dependents. Different from me means they are very dear to Lord in that sense. That is expressed by Lord. That means how they are very dear to the Lord. That is the point in that. And who is displeasing in that sense that people who please me, who respect the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words, even though a Brahmana is cursing, but if the other person is not at all taking revenge on the Brahmana, rather one is praising the Brahmana or glorifying, appreciating the Brahmana, then Lord will be more pleased with that person. In that sense, Lord is glorifying the Brahmanas. In the sense for Kumaras. But Lord finally expresses, okay, anyway, whatever happened. Let Jay and Vijay go to material world. But I always long for their association, so let them come back soon. So that's the desire of the Lord expresses to Kumaras. Then Kumara's situation explained internally. That's a beautiful narration, also beautiful point that was brought out. That in that section, that 13 to 15, 2, 3 verses, what Kumaras are internally feeling. Internally, how they are realizing their mistake, but they could not. The one major point was brought that though they experienced the beauty and the taste in the Lord's beauty and Lord glorification, but that was not much satisfying to their heart, because that offense, the serpent of anger bitten them. That offensive mentality is not gone fully because of that anger, because of that offensive mentality bitten them. That poison is still at the back of their consciousness. So though they were trying to take listen the glorious nectarian words from the Lord's lotus mouth, but still they could not be satisfied at heart. So that's one of the major point was brought out, that that offensive remnants are remaining in the hearts. Yeah, that could be. That is the main reason. Offenses are the main reason that we are not relishing either bhakti or any aspect of our devotion. Though sometimes we relish also, but not for long, too many. The offenses are considered, the offensive mentalities, offensive reactions are the major reasons that Acharyas, especially Srila Prabhupada, mentions many times. That's why we 10 offenses, Prabhupada, many times we also read in our Bhagavatam purports, Prabhupada quite often brings out the topic itself, that how the offenses are need to be carefully avoided so that we advance more and more. That was brought out, one of the major point of that section, and Kumaras could not comprehend what Lord is saying about that. And then they expressed to the Lord, my dear Lord, you appear to be glorifying, but we don't think that we actually did a right thing. Then they glorify the Lord in the sense that they mentions whatever Lord mentioned in the previous verses, how Brahmanas are great, how they connected. The same things they take up and they explain, not because of us, but because you only, because of your mercy, because of your great character and qualities, either Mother Lakshmi or whatever Tulasi or whatever the activities Lord mentioned, they are all because of you and your opulences, not because of your connection to Brahmanas. That's the major point that Kumaras mentions. And not because of us, not because of your connection to us, that your lotus feet has that power, or your qualities have that kind of attraction towards Mother Lakshmi or the devotees, or all those things they express. And they kind of beg forgiveness, and they agree that we did some mistake by cursing them. So that's how they continue, they express, Kumaras express to the Lord. So they glorify also Lord in various ways, in various terms, a potency, and how who can realize, who cannot realize the Lord, what are the different aspects of the Lord's personality. So then they express that we accept whatever you ordained on us and your servants, because to faultless persons. Finally they say, yeah, whatever you take action, now we are ready to do that. So that's because we these are two faultless personalities. Then Lord replies. So then there it comes that Lord punishment is ordained by me only. They will return to me uh, as soon as the term is over. But they will be absorbed. They also will be absorbed in anger. And then Sages accumulates and departs. And then Lord speaks to Jay and Vijay. Though I can nullify the curse, but I do not desire to go against my own rules. This departure was foretold. He gives the reason also why it happened, this whole situation. He explained to the doorkeepers. This happened because you did some kind of small offense to Mother Lakshmi. When Mother Lakshmi went out and when she was coming in Vaikunta, that she was angry when you stopped her. They also stopped Mother Lakshmi. So that how that kind of small offense happened. So by meditating on me in anger, you will overcome the offense and return to me shortly. Lord returned to his abode where there are many celestial planes, and Jay and Vijay goes to material planets. That's how Brahmaji concludes this chapter. How they went to Jay and Vijay, lost their luster and fell to wake from Valakunda and entered into womb of Diti. There is no remedy within my power for its Lord's himself who desires to do all this. Brahmaji is saying to the Devatas, I can't do anything now. That most ancient person will alone come to our rescue. We cannot do much by our deliberation. So Brahmaji is expressing his inability about Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu's appearance and their influence in the universe. And he says, okay, let us wait for Lord's mercy. He will appear. Accordingly, we will try to take actions. You just follow Lord's ordain, Lord's rule, Lord's plan. So that's what Brahmaji says and concludes. Okay, we are in 16th chapter. We discuss some sections. That first section at least let us complete. Lord apologizes Kumaraj after the Kumara's prayer. Now Lord is of course initial verse is an introductory verse of Brahmaji. Brahma Uvacha इति तद्गृणतां तेषां मुनीनां योगधर्मिणां प्रतिनन्द्या जगादेदं विकुण्ठनिलयो विभुः. Please read.
Lord Brahma said, will I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Lord Brahma said,
Continue.
after thus congratulating the sages for their nice words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose abode is in the kingdom of God, spoke as follows.
Yeah. So the first section is about Kumaras. Lord is talking to Kumaras, and he's expressing his apologies or taking side of Jai and Vijay. So the connection is that you should not be afraid of having committed offense. Definitely Lord says that you committed offense, but don't worry. That's what he is kind of consoling the Kumaras. Also sarcastically commenting on them as well. So seeing from the side of Jai and Vijay, Lord is saying here, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Etau tau prasado parshado mahyam jayo vijayev cha kadarti krityamam yadvo bahvaka akratam atikramam. Read.
Hare Krishna. The personality of Godhead said, these attendants of mine, Jai and Vijaya, by name, have committed a great offense against you. because of ignoring me. Even when the living entity is promoted to Vaikuntha, there is still the chance that he may commit offenses. But the difference is that when one is in Vaikuntha planet, even if by chance one commits an offenses, he is protected by Lord. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this remarkable fact is in the dealings of the Lord and Servitor as seen in the present incident of Giant Vijay. And definitely, it's not in the whole situation, as explained by Acharya, is not happening in Mahavaikuntha. The Mahavaikuntha, which is there in earthly planetary systems, the Brahmanda, this Brahmanda. So that's why it's explained that this may happen not in my Mahavaikuntha, but the Mahavaikuntha in the one Brahmanda. That may happen that especially this is ordained by Lord, as we have seen that Lord will say in the end. It's a plan of the Lord. But Prabhupada is expressing that he's there a chance to commit offenses, and he comes down to material world. So Lord is trying to adjustment. Lord is making some adjustments here for the Jay and Vijay for what they did, kind of a mistake. And Lord's mercy is explained by Prabhupada. The Lord is so merciful that even if there is some impediment for devotees, he himself manages matters in such a way that the devotee is not bereft of having audience at his lotus feet. So Lord is so kind. So similarly, Lord is so kind, though we came here and doing all circus in this mental world in terms of trying to gain some happiness and trying to squeeze out some happiness and show that I am the doer, think that I am the doer, feel that I am the doer, so that I may attain, I may feel some kind of happiness. But Lord is adjusting many situations, trying to make us remind our original position. So he does many activities. So that is Prabhupada is mentioning, bringing out that point. Lord manages matters in such a way that we have the chances. He explains two examples. One is Haridas Thakur example. Though Haridas Thakur is banned in one sense to enter into Jagannath temple, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself used to come and meet him daily. That is adjustment was made for him, for his pure devotee. So here in Srimad Bhagavatam, we also find the same behavior of the Lord. His devotees were prevented from seeing his lotus feet, but Lord himself came to see them on the same lotus feet for which they aspired. So this is from the point of view of Kumaras, is saying. But they wanted to see the lotus feet of the Lord, but he made arrangement. He came out. Lord and Goddess of Fortune is not to be seen by ordinary person, but the Lord was so kind that although the devotees did not aspire for such honor, he appeared before them with the Goddess of Fortune. So he made some arrangements for the Lord, for the devotees. That's the nature. That's the kind nature of the Lord. Of course, whenever any situation happens, Lord has many things to achieve in one shot. And there are so many aspects like that. Lord does so many things in one go. So that's the mercy of the Lord is explained there. Okay, text 3. Yastveta yodhruto dando bhavadbhirmamanumvrataihi sa evanumato asmabhir munayo deva helanat. O great sages, I approve of the punishment that you who are devoted to me have meted out to them. So Lord is approving. Yeah. What you did is okay. Text 4. Tadva prasadyamyadya brahmadaivam param hime tadhityatmakrutam manye yat swapumbhir asakrutaha. Read.
To me, the Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen.
This is one of the famous section also, in the sense that how a leader is blamed, or a leader has to take responsibility for his dependents or subordinates. Many a times, sometimes definitely one has to clearly discriminate and give punishment, but at the same time he has to be there. He is the responsible person. That's a Prabhupada, right? Prabhupada also in beautiful purports. That's the main aspect. What Lord is taking responsibility on behalf of Jay and Vijay's mistake. So he's commenting, moreover, I have made offense against you. How is it your offense? When Kumaras may say, Lord is saying, if Jay and Vijay were not my servants, and if I had not been so affectionate to them, there would be no offense on my part. So if you read in another way, if Jay and Vijay are my servants, and if I had been so affectionate to them, then there would be offense on my part, right now, because I identify with them directly. That's why it's an offense. They did offense means I did my offense. So in that way, they are my servants. He is taking their side completely. That is the main point behind this. They are mine, not you. So that's the import. They are mine. So that shows more intimacy how Lord is towards Jay and Vijay, his devotees. Yeah, of course, from the text point of view, it appears that the Lord is favoring the Brahmanas, Brahmana Hitayacha. That's how he's, to me, Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. Right now. And this respect shown by my attendants has actually displayed by me. So Prabhupada explaining about how Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. That aspect Prabhupada picked up and is explaining about more in that aspect, how Lord is favoring Brahmanas and cows, go Brahmana Hitayacha. So he explained more from that aspect point of view. That is the focus of Prabhupada, how Brahmanas, glorifying Brahmana, Brahmanical culture. So here give us a little more insight. Please read this one.
It should be noted that the glories of the Brahmana described in this chapter by the Lord himself referred to his devotee Brahmana or the Vaishnava. It should never be misunderstood that the so-called Brahmanas who are born in Brahmana families but have no Brahmanical qualifications are referred to in this connection.
So when Prabhupada talking about Brahmanas from by birth and by qualities, he's talking about how Brahma Daivam Param Hime. So only this word Prabhupada is focused on this whole purport and explaining how Brahmanas are very dear to the Lord, how they should be respected, and how to support that point. So they explain how by qualities, not by birth. So that is the main point of the purport. That's how Prabhupada whole purport is focused on. But as per Acharya's comment that we have seen how they are Jai Vijay are very dear to me. So it's my mistake. Yannamani cha grannati loko kritye kritagasi so sadhuvatastat kirtim hanti tvacham ivamayah.
A wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master, just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all of the skin.
So I'll generally in this chapter, to make it clear, I'm saying that so we will take more of a Acharya's translation so that the things are more clear. For that aspect, I will take more of a translation from them, and we'll also read in the next class, tomorrow's class, more from the translation directly, so that concisely we can understand. Of course, we go through purport also main points, but it will be more clear what's going on in the text and with personalities. So here Kumara is saying, Lord is replying that basically 11 verses, Lord is taking the side of the, appears to be taking the side of the Brahmanas and glorifying them, and taking their mistake, at least in the till the fifth or sixth verse, he's taking side of the Jai, taking side in the sense that taking the mistake on his part and glorifying the Brahmanas also indirectly. And in the next 7 to 11 verses, he directly glorifies the connection with Brahmanas. Now he's first identifying the whole mistake as himself and what can be done for that. So he's saying in this that the wrong act committed to me by servant leads to blame the master. Yeah, the Kumara is saying, but how can the Supreme Lord commit offense? Even if you do, even the Supreme Lord commit offense, who could punish him? Who could punish you? So that is the main question by Maharaj. How can you restrict yourself like an ordinary person? So we're not saying, oh, there can be no punishment. There may not be punishment, and people cannot give punishment to me. But the infamy itself is the greatest punishment, right? The famous saying for Kshatriyas, generally we say that is what is that? Disrespect is worse than death. So especially for Kshatriyas, we say that even in the case of Ashwatthama and Arjuna's that section of first canto, he was defamed. The Kshatriya, for Kshatriya is defame is worse than death. Disrespect is worse than death. So in that sense, no, there may not be any punishment at all, but the infamy itself is sufficient to is like more than punishment. So in that sense, is Lord is saying, oh, the infamy will come to me. I'll be become infamous, just like a leprosy. Just like a small part of leprosy is there, then a person is criticized, not just the skin, not just a spot of the skin, but the whole person will be criticized. Oh, is a leper. So in that sense, in that sense, Supreme Lord is taking the blasphemy, the bad name will come to me. I'll be taking that part because they are my servants. That's my responsibility also. I am taking that. So his Lord is taking that responsibility on behalf of J.M. Vijay. Prabhupada wrote a beautiful purport. Can you read?
A Vaishnava, therefore, should be fully qualified. As stated in the Bhagavatam, anyone who has become a Vaishnava has developed all the good qualities of the demigod. There are 26 qualifications mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. A devotee should always see that his Vaishnava qualities increase with the advancement of his Krishna consciousness. A devotee should be blameless because any offense by the devotee is a scare on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's duty is to be always conscious in his dealings with others, especially with another devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, Prabhupada is giving a great cautions to all of us that how we should be very responsible, putting tilaks, kantis, and dress of a Vaishnavas, etc. But our character and our behavior should be blameless. That's how, and that should happen by increasing our Vaishnava qualities, as Prabhupada himself is demanding in his purport. And the next, maybe I'll take 2-3 verses. I may take it, maybe 5 minutes more, and then we'll pause. So now, till now, he's identifying with the mistake and taking himself as responsible. I will be blamed, no problem. But now they're taking the side of Brahmanas, he's addressing. Because of connection to you, all my glory came, but you are being offended by my attendance. What to do? Please forgive me. So in that sense, he's glorifying the Brahmanas. Let us read the translations only.
Anyone in the entire
Read.
world, even down to the candle who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes part in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to love of my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you.
Yeah. So Lord is saying, now you have realized me without doubt. That's wonderful. These are all connection to, these are all happening at least till here he's saying that all my name and the purification that happens by taking my name, all because of your connection only. So in that sense it is spoken. These are all because of I connected to Brahmanas, that's why the potency came to my name and fame, etc. And now because you realized me, now it's my responsibility, even if it to the extent that I had to cut off my arm, I will do that. I will not hesitate to do that. So that's how he's expressing, because they are if its conduct found hostile to you, in the sense that arm is there, he's identifying Jay and Vijay like left and right arms, or one arm, both of them. That's how he's attached to. They are my body. They are so. I am so attached to them. So in that sense, is spoken. I'll cut off them from myself. So Kumara is saying that, but from offenses to us, you get infamy, and by our pleasure, you get fame. In the sense that, like when Brahmanas are glorified, Lord is glorified. When Brahmanas are criticized, offenses goes to the Lord. You have created us, but now we have become greater than you, Supreme Lord. So in that sense, so because Lord is identifying with them, they are saying like that. Yeah, definitely. What doubt is there? So I am Lord of Vaikuntha, famous as Tirtha because of you. Yeah, this is the. So because of I was connected to you. That's why I became Tirtha. Purifying aspect came because of your connection. So that's the externally is trying to address to the Kumaras. Yeah, because of your connection only, I became so purifying in my potency. So now that's how, what to speak of Jay and Vijay, objects of my attachment for me. I will even cut off my own limb, the object of my identity as I. So they are just maybe the objects of attachment, but I myself, the object. So he's going to it is showing how to the highest degree I can go to please you. So in that sense, because my attendants, my devotees offended you, because you should be respected, because everything, uh, whatever whatever my potency is coming because of your connection, and if you are offended, then whatever extent I can go up to the point of cutting my limb to please you or to rectify that mistake. So in that sense, the verse is spoken. Lord is saying that I can cut off my limb itself. And Prabhupada explains how Krishna, as Krishna is mentioning that, Lord Vishnu is mentioning that how my name is very purifying, how it's potent. So Prabhupada picked up that point and then explained how real purification happens by Krishna's holy name, Krishna's glorification. Then he explains about Chaturvarnya. All these explains. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood that he is to be understood as already purified, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotee, even if there is need to cut off part of his own body. So that is the connection Prabhupada gives in one sense. But the import we have seen, how his Lord is, how Lord is identifying with Jai and Vijay, and also trying to pacify the Brahmanas. He is saying that I am connected to you because of you. My potence, purifying potence is coming. So because they offended you, I am ready to cut off my own limb also to make a kind of a balance, a remedy for whatever offense has been done. And Prabhupada glorified the connection to the Lord and purifying potency of the Lord. Okay, maybe we'll pause here. I don't want to rush also. At least tomorrow we will focus on this initial part more, and then we will a little fast we go in the next section. So yes, yeah, till the 11th verse, Lord glorifies, kind of glorifying the Brahmanas, and the connection with the Brahmanas is the only way I am getting my potency to my name, to my opulences, to my existence, to my dust of lotus feet, whatever is there is because of connection to Brahmas, and because of you, and because you are offended, because you are disrespected in my abode, and whatever has to be done, I will do it. So even up to the point, either these people has to be removed, or whatever has to be done, I will do it. So in that sense, the verses are spoken, at least till 11, 12 verses. And of course, later Kumaras realizes Lord is not flattering us. Lord is actually sarcastically saying about our connection, but Lord is himself is glorified. Lord himself is very potent. He doesn't need our connection. So they realize, and they also express the same thing in this chapter. Okay, thank you so much. Dhanraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. If you have maybe any question tomorrow, we'll definitely take up something. We pause here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.